Adrienne, just say something to make sure everybody can hear you.
Hey guys, I hope that you can hear me. Otherwise, this is gonna
suck.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented and beautiful Adrienne Wilkinson. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, my loves. I'm so happy to be part of your program and to get the chance to hang out with you again, even if it's virtually.
There we go. It's going to be a lot of fun. You already know us since you met us, but I always have to do the introduction. So we have our cool, outrageous man about town, Ron Russell.
Hello, my sweet. Now, we go to this thing, I don't know where I am, somewhere in Hollywood, and they put me online, which is something I don't do. It's a red carpet event. I don't really wait on lines for red carpet because I've always gone to the big ones with the big stars where you go right in. I go in the room and all I see is a bunch of stupid people and a few bimbos, bleach blondes with their hair over one side with fake boobs and clit covers and that's all they are, clit covers and platform shoes, and they're all walking around looking like, if you bang me, I'll give you, I'll be in your movie. And then suddenly I gaze across the room, and seated there is this vision of this slender, magnificent woman with the posture, with her back was erect and her legs were crossed and her hands were on her lap, the vision of a lady. And I said, I've got to meet this one.
Classic Hollywood
So I
starlet.
walked over and I said to her, hello, Audrey Hepburn, how are you?
That's what they're saying in the chat room.
I haven't seen this kind of class since I interviewed these stars of years ago. And she just maintained being a lady the whole time, the way she moved her hands. She was just a vision of beauty. And then the tomatoes were walking around with their cleavage and, hey, baby, you got any gummy bears?
Terrible.
You got any gummy bears?
It was terrible.
And there you were. And I sat down and I was mesmerized by your charm.
Oh, honey.
They're calling you an art.
The night, without a doubt. I mean, I'm not brazen enough to describe it exactly as you do, but I love your description. That was so but I will say, you guys were a beacon in the midst of that Hollywood chaos. So it was a match made in heaven. Because this is the actual truth. Whenever I go to an event where I'm not sure what kind of event it is, like this one, my goal is to be in there and out of there within 7 minutes. That's my goal, hard 7 out. And then I met you guys, and it completely changed the evening. I was there for hours and just had so much fun getting to know you and hearing unbelievable stories from old Hollywood and current Hollywood, and just, well, it was the highlight of my evening for sure.
And you were the highlight of my evening. Otherwise, I'm in and out also. I do the red carpet. I do 3 poses and I'm out the door. But for some reason, Jimmy had to go around and talk to some people, so I was stuck there.
Actually,
lucky for you because some of them are mentally
Besides
ill.
being a TV host, I am an up-and-coming but very successful publicist, and a bunch of my clients were on the red carpet that I had to make sure that they all got through and everything. And that's how I met you in the line, filling out the little papers for them to go through the red carpet. But before we keep talking, we also have to introduce you to our man behind the boards. He's in Florida, Chad Murphy. Say hi to Chad.
Yo, Adrienne.
Sup, Chad? That's the first time I've heard that today. Look at you.
No, her Twitter is Yo Adrienne.
Oh, it is.
Her Twitter and Instagram and everything is Yo Adrienne W. And then we have a chat room full of people. Literally, we have Canada, Belgium, England, Germany, Estonia, the United States, I don't know, all these UK, all these different places, Australia, all being represented, and they're all talking about how you look like a Audrey Hepburn reincarnate.
Oh yeah, she's Audrey.
So say hi to say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Now I'm gonna get.
Wait, let her say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, my darlings.
There you go.
I'm excited to speak with you, especially if it's in English.
Yes.
Now, what impressed me the most was she had a beautiful dress on that was V-neck to the navel. So you could see the centers of her breasts, but she didn't have balloons. She has a natural, beautiful, small breast. And I thought, how delicious is this, that she doesn't look like these porno queens. Even her body was swan-like and elegant. And I said to her, never put those balloons in. And she said, I never would. I mean, no, never. She's Audrey Hepburn. I'm sorry. If ever they remake the life of Audrey, I'm going to put her name in and say, you got to see this girl. Sure. Look at her reel, because she's Please, Audrey. I
Well,
mean, everything about you.
I could use that moment to plug something, which I would normally never have even thought of. But I have a blog called Frankly, My Dear Starlet, and one of my first and most popular entries is called Adventures in Cleavage. And it's about all of the roles that my boobs have played online, because it's amazing what you can do with the right outfit and the right push-up bra, and how, you know, you can look completely different than the way you were born without having to have anything surgical. So I completely respect and appreciate the acknowledgement, even though I'm also blushing and starting to sweat.
No. I interview so many guys, you know, big movie stars off camera, because I go to all these events and stuff. And we talk, and they're like, a girl will walk by with the 75-foot boobs, you know, fake. And the guys will look, and I said, guys, really, do you like all those? And it was Lorenzo Lamas. You know, Larry, I love him. I love Larry's Arlene Dahl's son, and Arlene's my friend. So, no, I know Larry. And I said, Larry, all the women you marry, they look like pole swingers. They're bleach blondes with fake boobs. They're like sleazy, trashy sluts. He said, that's what I like. Now, one of his friends was there, and he said, not me. He said, if I go out with a girl and she's got those fake boobs, he said, turns me right off, because it's like being in a, what did he call it, a hefty bag with water. It's like grabbing a hefty bag with water. And I thought, what a wonderful...
You didn't know what you were getting into.
What a wonderful...
Amazing.
No, he said he only wants to go with a girl with real breasts. And I thought, that's very interesting. We should push that out there for people to hear. All you girls out there, don't think you have to have implants put in to get a guy, because most guys don't even like them.
They're too hard.
This is the beautiful thing about love, is that and this is honestly something that I feel reality TV has taught me. It doesn't matter how weird you are or what your preferences are. There is a perfect match out there just for you.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that.
Boobs you're into, you can find them.
My mother used to say to my sister, every pot has a cover.
There you go.
And you'll find your cover. So there you go. All you girls that went through the pain and the suffering and the expense of putting in the balloons, did it do any good? No. It just got guys to think you're a little easier than normal. Now, when you look at this gal, you don't go after her like she's cheesy shit. I mean, you go after her, you better take her to dinner to a nice place. You better have style and class, and you best not in any way do innuendos of sex, because this lady will walk up and exit the room.
So you have to tell us, though, it's
one or the other.
What is the website?
I mean, suppose you go on a date with a guy and he said, I want to take you home and bang you. What would you say?
Oh, that would, no. People bring that to me. That's not the energy that I attract. I mean, you know, I have oh gosh, I hope this doesn't sound egotistical, but I have a line that I say when certain people come up and ask for my number, and when it's just, oh, no. But I very kindly but cheekily say, oh, I am a great goal for you to have, but you're not ready.
He would do that too.
No.
He would. You would too.
When I used to go out when I was younger, I was a very good-looking boy. Believe me, I was a beautiful boy when I was young. I looked just like Tony Curtis for real. And and guys would come over to me and they'd say, you know, can I have your number? And I say, what for? You're only going to get a dial tone.
You brazen thing, you.
Well, because sometimes they would say things before it about my anatomy, and I just would look at them and say, "Get over yourself, you jerk."
There's somebody in the chat room named Mark who said if they ever remake Breakfast at Tiffany's that you should star in it.
Oh, she's gorgeous. I love her. She's my.
I'm not sure who Mark is, but hello, Mark, and welcome.
And Mark, you've got good taste. You've got good taste.
And so we need to tell everybody though, so we can get traffic to your blog. What is your blog?
So my blog is franklymydearstarlet.com, and it's all about, it's just my adventures in Hollywood. The truth is I've been absent from it for about a year, but I have stuff on there that I'm really, really proud of, some really great things, because I have had epic, ridiculous adventures, as everybody has, but I seem to attract some pretty hilarious stuff. Or maybe it's just that things that bother other people are things that I find hilarious. And I just think this life is meant to be fun, but also this career is definitely meant to be fun. And it's ridiculous. I mean, we pretend for a living, and we have this extraordinary LA is this extraordinary playpen that we are living in and trying to function in as both grown, mature adults and as monsters and playthings and clowns. And, it's like there's just so many personalities and so many levels to it. So
introduce your dog. Introduce your dog.
This is Taz.
Hi.
He's my main man.
He's cute.
He is. He's adorable. He is 12 and a half and just,
wow, he's like a puppy.
Yeah, he does look like that. Now my others are barking because they hear me talking about him.
How many dogs do you have?
This is when I get embarrassed. I have 3.
We have 2.
We have 2.
See, and they're small, so it's really only like having 2 dogs, kind of, but not.
Ours are huge. One of them's 130 pounds. He's like huge, and so ours is big.
He's a mastiff. He's a bull mastiff.
He's a rescue.
And the other one is a little baby sheep girl. She's a sheep herder dog. OES, a miniature OES.
Oh, it's so cute.
And they're rescues. We rescued them in Florida and brought them to Pennsylvania.
The thing is, I went to get one dog, and these 3 dogs had lived together. They were puppies at the time, but they had lived together since the day they were born. And I thought, I can't break up a family. And it's, I thought it's one of those things where they're so small, little, it won't be like having 3 dogs. It is like having 3 dogs. But, they're so cute that
dogs are the best. They love you no matter what.
We don't deserve them. They're so amazing.
So one reason
I agree.
One thing that I think maybe because you said you have all these like wonderful stories and things that have like happened to you, you're very kind of in a lot of ways iconic because you kind of like appeal to everybody because you've got like all the kind of like all the like sci-fi people because you've got you're in a million video games. I mean, I was like just like looking up, and there's too many of them to tell. But like World of Final Fantasy, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Sons of Anarchy, Star Wars, Alpha Protocol, The Evil Within, Saints. I mean, you have like The Sopranos. You're in like every video game, possible, which is a really cool career in itself. And then you're also Xena. Warrior Princess. You're in Xena Warrior Princess, and you're in Venice the series, which we love. Everybody from Venice.
Aren't they great?
And I had no idea that you were in so many. I mean, because you're in like a lot of episodes. We've had Crystal Chappelle on the show, Tina Sloan, Dot Marie Jones.
Oh, Dot Marie. I love my
Katie
Dot
McLean,
Marie.
John Lindstrom. All of them. They've all been on the show.
I love John.
And they're all like they all work on the series, and it's a great series, and it's got such a die-hard fan base because the fans, whenever we have somebody on. Like when Katie McLean or any of those people come on, like Crystal Chappelle, if you see the people that are in the chat room, like basically like lesbians for days from every country, tweeting to me, oh my gosh, we love them. And so I think you have such a cool, diverse body of work. And now you do something, and I had never seen this before, and I don't know what this is, but I thought Ron would like this, so I thought I wrote it down for you to tell us a little bit about it. It's called Suspense. Revival of the classic 1940s and 1950s television and radio anthology series with different stories of mystery and the macabre every week. So tell us what is that?
Suspense.
You pretty much explained it, but I'll just add to it. So it's exactly what you said. It's a revival of the 1960s radio show, which was the most popular radio show in the world. And we do about 50% where we re-record episodes, but with a modern take because we have to get rid of some of the racism and the sexism,
right?
Make them more current. But about 50% of the episodes are brand new scripts. It's written and directed by John C. Alsadek, and I produce with him, and we have more than 100 episodes at this point. You can find them on iTunes, but we also air around the world on about 300 radio stations and on Armed Forces Radio and different NPR stations and things like that.
I think that's so cool.
That's a new thing. Radio is back. So many people now are listening to they have a station, I don't know where it comes out of Flagstaff or somewhere up there, and God knows where, and it's the original Inner Sanctum radio show. Inner Sanctum was the spookiest show in the world. I remember when I was a kid, the guy's voice, and welcome to the Inner Sanctum. And it was these stories that scared the hell out of you. And my sister would turn the lights off, and I'd be in bed with my sister, and she'd be hugging me as we're listening to this radio show. And it was really wonderful. So I'm glad that radio's back because it exercises the imagination.
Did you see her cup? It said badass.
I know.
You know, also though, like, because we started as a radio show, and so we get about on video, we get about 50,000 views on the different platforms every week. But on radio, we get 4 million, like depending, like between iTunes.
No,
and,
almost 5 now. We went up.
Almost 5.
Almost
but between
5 million. Right now,
iTunes and
there's almost 5
SoundCloud
million
and
people.
iHeartRadio and all the different places, you know, so we're bigger as a
you're
radio
being seen
show
right now, so it's, you know,
everybody loves you too. The chat room
I
totally
love her.
loves you.
Listen, I sat with her. Listen, that evening I wanted to shoot myself because I didn't feel well. I don't know why I didn't feel well, but I just didn't want to be there. And you were just such a delight to look at. To talk, and I had to tell her, I'm gay. I'm not hitting on you. You know, I don't want you to think I'm trying to pick you up.
It was a total shock.
Yeah, right. Don't be so cute. But anyway, I told her, I said, you know, I'm so enjoying the fact that you're such a lovely, beautiful woman. And it's so rare today because, you know, I interviewed Arlene Dahl, who is absolutely the ultimate lady. Lauren Bacall. Well, Lauren and I got along great. I sat on her lap. She threw a couple of fucks at me, and I threw a couple of fucks back at her. And we got along fine. Lauren Bacall was a broad. Jane Russell was a broad. But most of the gals that I've interviewed of the elegance of Hollywood were just like you. And that's what I kept telling you, is you remind me of the legends of Hollywood. Never lose this. Please, I'm begging you, never lose what you've got. Because when the screen sees it, it's going to want it over and over and over. We're bored with plastic tits and blonde hair. We're bored with that look. Bored.
Start the new revolution.
There you go.
No, seriously, we are totally bored with that look-alike chick where everybody wants to look, they want to look like those stupid Kardashians, those jerks. I mean, you know, garbage. But
so I
want to ask her a question. I think I did ask you that night. Who trained you growing up? Your mom? Was she another elegant lady? I mean, where did you learn to be so sophisticated and graceful?
Oh, gosh, that's a lovely question. I have extraordinary women in my family, and I'm certain that they influenced me completely. My mom, my grandmothers, my aunts. I just have really extraordinary women in my family. But I grew up as a dancer. I was on stage as a dancer starting about 2 years old. So I'm sure
there you go. There you go.
To it, absolutely.
That's why you're like Audrey Hepburn, because she was a trained ballet dancer as a kid, and she was a dancer. And dancers do sit with and that's what impressed me the most. Most of those girls, I guess maybe their water bags are so heavy they slouch. But you sat there with your back so straight and your leg crossed and your hand on your lap. Totally impressed me.
As soon as I met you, I knew he was gonna love you. I was like, my husband is gonna love you.
Oh yeah, because I hate.
He was like, because you're like so stunningly fabulous looking, you know.
No, elegance wins out. I don't care. You know, Marilyn Monroe was sexy and beautiful and wonderful. Jane Russell, by the way, was my best friend for years. I told you that. I mean, she hung out with me. We lived in each other's house. I mean, we were buddies. And I said to her, in an interview, I said, you know, Jane, Marilyn Monroe was somebody you wanted to meet in the bar, take to a motel, and have a good time with. But Jane Russell was somebody you wanted to come home to, find in an apron that with nothing else on that you're married to. And she thought that was a great way of putting it. I said, you know, Jane was a sexy marrying kind, but Marilyn was a one-night good time. And you're the same way. You're the kind of a girl that a guy wants to come home and find is his wife.
Absolutely.
Not a tomato.
Wait, I have two things, though, I want to say. Number one, do you know somebody named Mark Sulzbach?
I believe so, yes.
Just say hi to him, because he's like all about you in the chat room. He's put up your website and everything, frankly-my-starlet.com. So that's fun.
It's nice to see you, and you're always so supportive and lovely, and thank you so much for being part of this and for helping to spread the word. He's very good at online connecting. So there
you go. You gotta love it. And then because I went through your IMDb to see who else that you might know that we've had on the show, because I always think that's fun. It's like a 6 degrees of separation. So you were in Goodnight Burbank. We've had Camden Toy, and John Barrowman actually is our #1 show.
We love
10 million
John.
Plays we got with John Barrowman.
Do you like John?
Amazing. I've met John at conventions. We've done a couple conventions together.
Oh, because he's crazy.
Well, he was in Goodbye Burbank, too. Maybe not the same time you were, but he was like in the TV show.
We were in the same episodes together, but we didn't actually work together because he shot his stuff on green screen.
No
scenes. He came on our show, and when it opened, he was tongue-kissing a blow-up doll, a woman blow-up
That's
doll.
hilarious.
I watched the first few minutes and I saw his
Did you see
dog.
that?
The whole thing.
And then you did
We love John. He's like a ace in our book.
You did a movie called Raise. Are you like one of the prison chicks?
I am, yes. I'm one of the murder victims, which was every woman in that movie.
Oh my God! Can we see that someplace?
I'm sure that you can.
I have to look that up. But we've had, I know Zoe Bell, and we've had Doug Jones on the show, and Tanya Kaye on the show from that one. And then from Renegades, we've had Walter Koenig and Terry Farrell on the show.
Fantastic. You've listed some of my most favorite people in the world.
They're the coolest, and they're also cool.
Ours too.
Yeah, Zoe and I've known Zoe since I was maybe 19, something like that. We met on Xena Warrior Princess when she was playing Xena's stunt double, and I was Xena's daughter. And we've done, I think, 6 projects together since then, including Raise. And Doug Jones, I think Raise was the first thing that we met on, but we also did an Amazon series called Nobility. And just recently, he was in a documentary I'm helping to produce that's about Lee Merriweather. And he came in and we interviewed him for that because he just loves her. She, of course, is the first Catwoman and
yes,
just extraordinary and just super yummy. And my friend Elizabeth Grayson and I have been working on a documentary about her. So it's a small world. And, of course, Walter and Terry, they're just delightful. I love them both so much, and I'm really lucky.
You know, Terry was in a show. I don't know if she was in the movie version or the TV series version, Paper Dolls. I was a clothing designer for many years, and so anything that had to do with models, I used to like love it. And so she was like in Paper Dolls, and it was one of my favorite shows like ever, like in the 80s or whatever. And so when we booked her on the show, I was so excited because I have all the episodes on DVD and everything from this like show because I thought it was so fabulous. And Walter Koenig, we had him on before we turned into TV when we were just radio, and we had a blast with him. And that fits into your whole, like, you have all the sci-fi fans. I mean, because you really have such great sci-fi credits. So let's do something fun because we've got 10 minutes. So you've worked with all these.
I want to ask you one question.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I have to get personal.
Okay. She's not going to tell you if she's got a boyfriend. She's too classy.
No. There are ways of asking a question, Jim.
Okay.
Are you presently spending time with somebody special?
That is a beautiful way to put it. I will say anyone I spend time with is special. I only have special.
Love her. She's class all the way, kids. She's class.
What a good answer. She threw it right back at you.
She's all class. All class. Absolutely. But anyway, I could see how if I was straight and young and handsome, I would be madly in love with you. I could find how men could fall in love with you because you're beautiful, you're charming, you're bright, you're everything a guy would want. No, seriously, now, if you can cook, you're definitely in. Can you cook?
Of course. And I also am really good at dialing for takeout also.
What's your favorite takeout?
Ooh, gotcha. I mean, the thing is, there's certain things that just don't travel well, so it's not about favorite foods. It's about, being smart with it. But I mean, how can you go wrong with Italian? Because,
he's Italian.
It's just even more melty. That only gets better,
Yes, absolutely.
You can always reheat it. It tastes better than when you reheat because the flavors absorb in whatever the product is in it.
So here's what I want to do some fun questions.
I want to ask you one more
listening.
question.
Okay.
Are you a swimmer? No,
I do. I love to swim. I grew up swimming. I'm not a big swimmer in the ocean, but other places, yes.
Because I could almost feel that your body is trained from swimming. For some reason, I see you in the water going this way.
Oh, I love that. Well, call me mermaid, and I will totally answer, and it'll be fabulous.
So you've worked with a lot of really great people in Hollywood. Let's say if you have your bucket list, who is a male and a female celebrity that you would be like, oh my God, I would love to do a project with this person, no matter what it is. And then be thinking at the same time, because the second half of the question is if you could have been in any movie ever made in history, what movie would it have been? Like, what role would you have thought would be your ultimate dream role? It doesn't matter if it's something that's from a long time ago. It can be from anything you like.
Yeah. Okay. These are the kinds of answers where I've got 7,000 things that I want to say about them. Because I'm such an enormous fan of so many people, and I just love beautiful, collaborative, creative work. But I will say the dream role that I find just that changed everything for her, but that I just think changed so much about modern film even, was Cate Blanchett in Elizabeth. I
Great film.
loved, like, oh my God, that movie was extraordinary, but she was everything. It was so yummy. And that's the kind of role that, I mean, I generally play a lot of powerful females is what I usually play most of the, when I'm cast in major roles, it's usually that sort of thing. And that's the kind of thing that appeals to every side of me, because she was big and fierce and this lioness, but she was also really vulnerable and confused and trying not to be taken advantage of. And it just had so many beautiful layers. I love so many actors. There's not a way to just narrow it down, but for you, I will.
You can give me a few. You can give me a few. You can give me a few men and a few women, and that way you don't have to feel like you had to pick it out as one.
I love it. That way nobody's feelings are hurt.
Yes.
Clearly that would. My favorite television series right now is Peaky Blinders, and I love Cillian Murphy. I just think he is so interesting. And I just think as an actor, he's phenomenal. Like, you watch Peaky Blinders, where he is the most cutthroat, dangerous human being. I mean, he's like a walking switchblade. He's just so powerful and dangerous. And then you watch like Breakfast from Pluto, where he's so in his feminine that you can't even believe that it's the same human being. And that sort of transformation is what I love about this work. I love storytelling, and I love how many different people you can play and parts of humanity you can explore. And I think he is someone who has explored in so many different
Batman.
areas.
He was in Batman.
Oh my God.
As the bad guy, that was intense.
But everything he does is intense, no matter what he's exploring.
Now, if he called you for a date, would you?
He's married with kids, so hell no.
I didn't know that.
Good answer.
But then again, it's Hollywood. That doesn't stop
No,
anybody.
let's just pretend he didn't have wife and he didn't have any kids and he was just a great actor that you liked and he wanted to just go to dinner.
I mean, is he your kind of guy?
Say no, but I would also be incredibly intimidated, because I don't think I'd be on the date. All I'd be doing is watching him, because he's just so interesting to watch, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an interesting answer.
But don't ever be intimidated. You got so your shit together. You're like so like.
Oh, you know, you're like you're like bittersweet. That's what you're like. You look bitter, but then when we meet you, you're sweet. You have that look about you where guys are gonna go, oh, no, I'm not gonna.
Not even gonna try.
Gonna
She's like way
her.
out of my league.
I'm not hitting on her. She's
like way out of my league.
She's somebody or something, and that's bitter.
So anybody who actually hits on you has to have a lot of balls.
When they know you, they know you.
Well, no, that's true. I remember. So I was at an event a couple of months ago, and this man comes up to me. I don't know who it was. He was an actor of some sort that was part of this event that I was at, but I don't actually know who it was. But he came up to me and he said, so my friend over there is dying to come talk to you, but he's just not brave enough. So I'm coming over to my friend to try to get you to go to my, and I was like, if that dude doesn't have the balls to come over and say hi to me, like, there's no place for this to go.
No way. Absolutely right.
Oh.
Absolutely, totally. I've had that happen in my life where somebody came over and said, my friend would like to meet you. I said, and?
Right. So how?
And where's your friend? You want me to walk across the room to meet your friend? No, your friend wants to meet me. Let him walk here. And that's our attitude.
So give us a woman. Now, who's a woman that you would like to work with?
Oh, gosh, so many. For some reason, the one that's coming to mind right now is Glenn Close. And I think it's because the other day I was rewatching some of Damages, and she was
what a great show.
Oh, my God.
Terrific show.
That's another, like we talked about Elizabeth, but that's the other thing. Playing against her in Damages that first season, oh my God, like that would have been just
amazing.
Extraordinary. Yeah. I mean, yummy writing, interesting show, but she was the thing that you were like, oh. And the same thing in like, I was about to say Les Miserables, but that's not it. But her and John Malkovich, it's one of my favorite movies. I can't believe I can't remember the French title. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember. It's also,
I'll look it up.
Yes, it's also Uma Thurman. And
oh, I love Uma Thurman.
Yeah,
I love her.
Yummy.
And as a person also, Uma is sensational. Do you know, have you ever met her?
I've been in a room with her, but I can't say officially that we've like.
She's like 7'3".
Yes.
And absolutely imposing. I mean, she walks in the room and you've got to sit for 10 minutes and look at her.
Oh, you know, too, that movie, The Wife with Glenn Close, is supposed to be really good.
I want to see that.
I feel like everything with Glenn Close is really good. But
how long ago was
think
this
Glenn
film?
Close-
How long ago was this film?
Way long ago. It was probably like 95 or something. I
Okay,
mean,
hold on.
I think Glenn Close is a far better actress than Meryl Streep. What do you think?
oh, I don't know about that. I think they're both equally delicious. I mean, there's just certain things about that. I mean, Meryl is such a formidable icon that it's just sort of overwhelming, but I think she's also delightful from everybody I know who knows her. But with Glenn Close, there's something a little different in that. I mean, she didn't even do a movie until she was 35, like nothing at all. She'd only done theater before that. And that is like a unicorn. I mean, who successfully, I think her first movie was World According to Garp. And
what a great movie.
Yeah.
I think Glenn Close is dangerous, but I think Meryl Streep is the same. Meryl is always Meryl Streep, and she's safe. But to me, Glenn Close is very dangerous because I never know what she's going to pull off. Her Norma Desmond was sensational. Her
I don't see the movie.
When the other one, she was killing off, what's his name, Doug? Anyway, yeah. I just had a blackout.
Dangerous Liaison. That's the movie.
That's it. Dangerous Liaison.
And
yes.
she's just dangerous as an actress.
Oh, look at it. He said dangerous.
You never know what she's going to do. And if you never know. I think that when the director is working with her, he doesn't know what she's going to do. I don't think anybody on a set knows what she's going to do. She just does things that are so... I mean, she could just twitch her eye and move her head in a way that it just tells a story, like I explained to you. Meryl Streep is a great actress, but she's Meryl Streep.
So hang on, everybody, because we've only got a minute. So first of all, you guys...
I want to tell her something before you go on. Listen, I don't know how you feel, but you're my friend. And if ever you come to Palm Springs, darling, you're going to call us. And you're going to come to the house, and we're going to have a party. We have a lot of showbiz actors and actresses, friends that live here. We'll have a party. We'll all be among each other, and I'll cook a wonderful Italian meal for us. And it would be my pleasure to add you to our friend list because you are totally joyous and delightful. My sweet young lady, never change. Please listen to
yes,
me.
please, to all of that. I'm there tomorrow, 100%.
Okay.
We would love it.
When you come, I'm serious. This is not bullshit. This is the truth.
We have like parties like every month.
I'd show up anyway.
No. Do you know how many friends we have that come to us from the show?
We invite. Well, we don't invite everybody we have on the show, but we invite everybody that we like from the show.
I cook up a storm. In fact, I want to have Dot out. It's Dot's time. I love Dot.
Yeah, we love Dot.
I love Dot. So
Dot
maybe
Marie
when
Jones.
you come, I'll have Dot.
So hold on though, because we were out of time. So everybody follow Adrienne on Twitter. It's at @yo_Adrienne W, ADRIENNEW. She's on her Twitter. She does her Twitter. Please support all of her projects. Check her out in Venice, the series. Anytime you have anything you want to promote or new movies coming out, just let me know. Send me a message and we'll bring you back to promote anything that you got going on.
And everybody, keep an eye on this gal because she's a shooting star.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye on her.
And we want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you guys for having me. Love you so much and appreciate
Love you too. I really mean that.
Bye.
I honestly do. You're a
and say goodbye
dog.
to your dogs too. We love them all and have a great time.
We'll see. We're going to a red carpet soon at the Chinese Ramen Theater. Are you going?
I'm very well happy, actually. Maybe we'll connect there.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you at the carpet.
All right.
That would be great.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Okay.
Bye. Love
Bye-bye,
you. See you
honey.
later. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. We got a great show for you guys next week. Next week, we have the band Nocturnal Blonde, and we have Leon from Leon and the People. It's going to be a great show.
I love Leon.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Chad, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.
I love him.
Now you look sexy. Your game is tight. Gonna get laid tonight. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star.
One day I was walking down the street. My mate come up to me and said, "Hey mate, wanna go to a party?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, love? I ain't got no gums. I need some nice gums so I can go out to this party and pull all the chicks and the